Hey everyone, welcome back with me, Mac. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Crash Tag Team Racing. This time we're going to go through all the fast laps. Last time I was doing the chicken challenges. Before that I did Rolling Thunder. So if you want to check those out, make sure to, check out them and the playlist on the channel and whatnot. Fast lap is just time trial, basic as that. Nothing that we haven't seen before in, racing games or the series or whatever. It's definitely a little more difficult in this game. Just because, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say that's true. Difficult, I would say no. But it is a little tougher if you are not actually used to just driving in the game like me. So that's kind of the issue. You can always just turn up the... I always recommend, you get at least one tier 3 car. And you turn up the speed to insane. That way it's easier and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's just... if you're not used to drifting and stuff like that in this game, it will be a little bit difficult to... a little bit of a learning curve. But, even though I think it's probably the most difficult challenge in the game, it's not too bad overall. But we still have, after this, by the way, we'll still have... Run and Gun and Crashinator, and both of those games are kind of somewhat like spin-offs in a little bit, in a way, of the Fast Lap and the the Rolling Thunder. So Run and Gun is you're shooting at actual targets on the track, and then Crashinator is you don't have to finish the lap, but you are timed to just kind of run into and drive into obstacles of varying size and stuff like that. And I think in the later levels they start to move out of the way and whatnot, so it's definitely a pretty big challenge as well. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here, and we also have a few other gags, dioramas. We got a lot of Crash to go in this Crash Tag Team Racing to go in this series. So if you're enjoying yourself in this series and hoping it doesn't go away, comment down below, let me know that you are a supporter, in fact, and that you are enjoying the Crash Tag Team Racing series. Just, holla if you hear me, that kind of thing. But today I figured, I would do something a little bit different for our topic today as far as stuff that I'm going to talk about. I've shared my opinions on the game, shared my opinions on a little bit of the state of gaming today. I've shared my opinions on, addressing some criticism about this game and all other sorts of stuff. But last video I mentioned that I would like to talk about the beta, cut content, release stuff. And if you're interested in that, I am leaving a link to the Cutting Room 4 down below. So if you want to check that stuff out, because I'm not going to go over everything in there, just kind of the stuff of interest that I found in that was apparently left on the discs of the beta, and removed content left in the files and whatnot. But without further ado, just gonna talk about some things that I found interesting. First off, one thing that I didn't know about that's actually kind of crazy is that this whole game, its engine is the same as the Simpsons Hit and Run engine, and it even references that game in this game as well. I forget whose mission it is exactly. I think it may be Engine's. But I think if you keep bothering him, and the game's supposed to give you hints when you keep talking to characters who have missions for you. I think the last one for Engine on his first or second mission is just, hey man, have you played Hit and Run? That was a great game. Which I had no idea that was actually referencing Simpsons Hit and Run, but yeah, this was the same company that made Hit and Run, or at least the same engine, at the very least, I will say that. Which is pretty cool. I have not played Simpsons Hit and Run, but I'm looking forward to trying it out on the channel someday, so I don't know, we'll have to see. I mean, if it's anything like Crash Tag Team Racing, or if it's just, something different entirely. But I mean, I believe that's the most popular Simpsons game, so this is not a very popular Crash game, but who knows? Maybe it's similar, maybe it's not. We'll have to see. Another interesting thing, so this game was also the successor to Crash to Insanity, and I had mentioned previously that the same guys who did the soundtrack, the acapella soundtrack for Twinsanity, also did the soundtrack for this game too. So another little bit of trivia there for you fellas. Now first off, there are some unused cars in this game. They're not really much to look at. Like I said, I am leaving the link to the Cutting Room Floor article down below for you guys to check out. You know, so you can actually see what the cars look like and stuff. Because, I mean, even though I'm talking about this stuff, the main focus of this episode is the fast laps and watching me drive through, trying to get the best times and whatnot. But, you know, I'll still leave the link for you guys down below for this video. Remember, check the description. Sometimes there's actually stuff down there. But yeah, these test cars are kind of just generic cars. I believe are kind of in the shape of multiple vehicles. Like, there's a yellow car that kind of reminds me of Crash's generic yellow car that he has, his secondary car that you get from Stu the Chicken Man. Then there's another one that looks like a Jeep. It's green. I feel like there's definitely a Jeep in this game. I just can't remember who has it, but maybe I'm thinking of Crunch's tank car. Oh no, that's Engine's tank car actually. Oh man, I missed that guy. He's lucky. Then there is a car that has the same wheels, like it looks like a Jeep. It was directly modeled off of like what would become Engine's tank car, but it's like blue and it's kind of got the same similar design to Crash's yellow car. And then there's one more in which it's like an orangish with red stripes. Once again, they all kind of have like a similar theme in which they're just kind of generic cars with stripes on them. And this last one is no different, but it's kind of interesting as the first three are test car 1, 2, and 3, but the fourth one is CR Stir. So I don't know, maybe that was something that was actually intended to be in the game instead of a test car, but wasn't unfinished, as it looks like it has a little bit of uniqueness to it. Also, there's an unused cheat screen. So in this game, there actually are quite a few cheats, right? So, like, for example, I don't know why, but in this game, I think in this game in particular, they actually changed the design for Crash for the Japanese version. It's like chunkier and... yeah, I don't know, it's just chunkier and kind of more cartoony looking and stuff like that. I wouldn't say anime-ish, but yeah, he's definitely, like, it's definitely a noticeable difference. And you can actually do a cheat in this game on the main menu, or the start screen, and you gotta do the codes fast, like super fast, like, or else you won't get it. Like, you'll get a nice little chime if you get it, but if you don't, you just get a dun dun dun. You know, I hear that all the time because you have to be like blazing fast with the cheat codes for whatever reason in this game. But yeah, you can actually unlock and just play the game as the Japanese version of Crash. But there's also, like, you can swap the heads of all the characters to where they have chicken heads, I guess. I tried that out, and then I, like, turned on the game to start it up, and it just crashed. So, I don't know. I can't attest to it exactly. Maybe it's just an emulator issue or something like that. But there's also, you can have, like, block cars, and those are cheats that you can actually activate in this game using cheat codes on the title screen. But it looks like at one point in time, the cheat mode is going to be in the extras option menu, and it was going to be something in which you could just turn on and off once you access the cheat menu. So I don't know if you actually had to do the cheat codes to unlock this menu. I'm not sure if it was something kind of like if you played some old school games, like the only one that I can really think of are like the old Acclaim games, the wrestling ones, like WWF Attitude and Warzone, where you would beat the challenge mode with certain superstars, and then you would unlock certain wrestlers, or like cheats like burp mode or ego mode or big head mode, stuff like that like you could just turn on and off in the options after you unlock them. So they technically weren't really cheats, they were just unlockables. But I don't know if that's what the original case was supposed to be for this, or if it was something where once you uncoded the cheats, you unlock the cheat mode and stuff like that. But there are, according to this, there were quite a few of these cheats that never actually made it into the game. So there's apparently a race and film noir mode. So I'm assuming that just means it was black and white. I think I've heard, I think there's actually remnants of this, because I tried to look up Game Shark codes at one point for this game, and there was a black and white mode. I haven't tried it out, but I'm assuming that's remnants of this noir mode that was unused in the game. Otherwise, I mean, I can't imagine why that would even be a GameShark code to begin with. Japanese crash, you can just turn on and off. It looks like in this mirror tracks, that's actually the most interesting to me. You know, obviously Mario Kart is probably one of the biggest examples of using mirror mode in its games, and it's just where, like, instead of, you know, if it just flips the track so that way, you know, for example, for this turn, it would be a left turn instead of a right turn. This would have been like a right turn instead of a left turn. You guys get the idea. It just flips the turns, and it's something that you don't usually think would be a big deal until usually you actually, like, once you learn the tracks and you know how to race them and all that stuff, it's actually a pretty big deal. It's a little bit of a mind bender, if you will, when you turn on mirror modes and stuff like that. It's not crazy in which you have to learn the tracks all over again or anything like that, but it kind of messes with your mind, even when you think you're not, like, accustomed to the tracks as much as you believe you are. So that would have been pretty interesting. Could have added I'm surprised mirror mode wasn't just like an extra game mode in this or whatever. Unlimited ammo, I believe that's something you can also unlock with cheats, but I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of GameShark codes. Another one-shot KOs. I'm pretty sure that's something you can also do with KOs. I believe that's where you can actually just, like, bump into other cars and you'll end up actually blowing them up, but like kind of like how you do in GTA with the tank. But maybe actually I'm thinking of the GameShark codes again. I get my stuff mixed up, but I know there is definitely a code that you can enter on the title screen in this game to get 1-hit KO, so I'm assuming it's probably just like when you shoot things. Another one, clashing on and off. I'm not really sure what that one means. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the clashing on and off means. I think that, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check that. Somebody can fact check me in the comments. I'm pretty sure that might be something you can choose to not have in this game in particular either, but that wouldn't make much sense to me to have, like, this game without clashing. It just wouldn't work. And then there's also another mode that says battle and stunt tracks. So that's actually a pretty interesting concept as well. I mean, once again, you would think that would just be like an extra side mode, like, you know, when you access battle arena mode, that you could just, you know, use those stunt arenas as like an extra selectable tracks. I'm surprised they didn't just go with that, because that actually sounds like a very interesting concept. I mean, those stunt arenas, you just put in some you know, like power-ups and weapons. I mean, yeah, they're pretty much good to go. I think those would be very interesting battle arenas, especially since you can kind of run from people in the Astro Arena and hide behind some of the walls. And yeah, I think that actually sounds like an awesome concept. It's too bad that never made it into the final game. But I guess I'll go over a few more of them in this video. I'm not sure if I can cover all of them. Apparently there's also an unused costume. Apparently it's a bucket head crash, and it's pretty unfinished. It looks like it's just like a nut, kind of like a nut and bolts kind of thing, like on top of his head. I'm assuming that's just due to the unfinished texture here, but I don't know. Maybe like there would have been more of the costume and it was just so unfinished that that's all we see here. Maybe it would have been, you know, bucket head on him, or maybe some sort of conspiracy theorist crackhead nut thing or whatever, you know, the crackpot guys, you know, to wear the tinfoil hats or something like that. Maybe it would have maybe fit the theme of like an Astroland or something like that, but I don't know. I guess we'll just never really know for sure. But I don't know, the way it looks in you know, this screenshot that I'm looking at now, it kind of reminds me of Plants vs. Zombies, where you know, the Tower of Defense game by PopCap Games, where you know, they would just have those generic zombie models, and then they'd have like the buckets, and that would somehow give them, like, you know, like make them like as durable as like 4 regular zombies or something crazy like that, maybe 3. But yeah, I don't know. I think that would have been an interesting little costume. It probably would have been disappointing if it was just the bucket head on him, but I don't know. Like I said, I think it might have been something a little bit bigger that they just weren't able to even really get started on, is my guess. Oh, it even says here that the game's coding suggests that it was belonging in Astroland. So yeah, I mean, it could have just been a bug ahead, or my theory could have been right. Maybe it would have been like some sort of tinfoil conspiracy hat thing dealing with aliens or something like that, and would have given you like, maybe it would have been kind of cool if it gave you if it was part of the mad scientist outfit or something like that. I think that'd be a little funny, but maybe I'm just thinking of Destroy All Humans, another great game series. Yeah, believe it or not, that freaking Rings of Uranus. Oh man, that's by far the hardest time trial to do in the entire game. Like, it kind of gets a little annoying once you get to Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I mean, golly gee whiz, like those 16 seconds I had to do, that was probably the only time trial, fast lap, that I had to do like more than 3 times to officially beat. Because geez Louise, my words of advice for these tracks, the Uranus tracks in particular, is Engine, his car seems to be like one of the fastest as Doom Buggy, so I suggest going with him. Him and Crash with their Crash with the Trikey, I guess. I mean, I don't know why, but that is just one of the fastest cars in the game. It's crazy. At least in my experience, I'll say that.
What am I doing up here?
Apparently there was also an unused feature in the game. I don't know what exactly it would have been. Apparently it was a feature called the Scooch. And it seems like it was kind of like the closest thing from what I've seen from it is, if I'm sure there's not many of you that have played it that are watching this, but if you ever played Mortal Kombat from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, that Mario Kart side game, it's kind of like that, where you use the bump feature to bump people. And I think the idea was you're supposed to maintain your drift, and you can still use the scooch, and it's clearly unfinished in the video that it was showcased in. But I don't know, it seems like it would have been an interesting mechanic. I'm sure it would have been like useless against like people that were clashed or something like that, but it would have been interesting to see you know, a mechanic in which, you know, the single player can bump into other cars and maybe just stop their momentum or something of that sort. Probably would be very annoying to deal with if like you're the one who got scooched, as they say, but I don't know, like it was kind of unfinished, so I can't really, I don't know if anybody can really say for sure what it would have been used for. Other than that, I mean, there's a few unused skyboxes that you could swap out.
Okay, this is scaring me.
There were also some test tracks that never really ended up being in the final game, and just for whatever reason, I mean, there's a lot of times, I guess, I don't always understand it, but there's like times where you'll see in games in the code there's like multiple versions of certain maps that they probably use for testing purposes, but like they're kind of like copy and paste from like maps that we have in the game. Maybe they won't have the music, maybe they won't have you know, the correct skybox, or maybe they won't have the props activated or something like that. They're just kind of used for like the testing purposes. But this game seems to have quite a bit of that. There's also like a test hub area from the looks of it that was apparently seen in a pre-release trailer, which is interesting. Which, you know, there's a lot of games that have like test areas that don't really lead to anything, or they're just used for testing physics and whatnot. But as far as that goes for today, yeah, that's pretty much all the cool information I got from the Cutting Room 4. So if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's episode if you're also interested for more Crash Tag Team Racing. And thank you so much for watching. Above all else, please remember to have a nice day.